Not a lot of people see themselves as, I can change this, I need to change this. If you say enough times, I think you're gonna convince yourself that you can change. If I tell myself I'm shy, I'm not even convincing myself that I need to be unshy. I'm telling myself, and I'm just hammering it in, that I'm shy.
Triple Shot Mindset.
Every morning when I wake up, starting tomorrow, I'm going to have to stand in front of the mirror and tell myself I'm good enough, I'm smart, I'm healthy, I'm this. But I also have to act upon some of those things, right? I can't just say I'm healthy, but I'm diabetic.
Yeah.
Right? But the more I reprogram my consciousness or subconsciousness about certain things, then I think I step up to that level.
Yeah.
More and more. I've noticed that a lot of people, especially, I'm not going to say, I noticed a lot of people stand in front of the mirror and say, oh my God, I'm so fat. Oh my God, I'm so ugly. Oh my God, I have so many gray hairs. They accentuate the negative things. But rarely do they say, oh my God, I'm good looking. Maybe once every 6 months when they're going out, they're like, oh, not bad. I look good. But the majority of the time, they're just pointing out the negatives.
Yep.
And that becomes a reality. Mm-hmm. And that's all they begin to see. So we have to rewrite that.
Yes.
We have to rewrite the thoughts we have about ourselves. But more importantly, the things we speak.
Yep. We literally need to brainwash ourselves. Wash the brain. Mm-hmm. Start from scratch.
Yeah. With Scotch Brite.
Ideally. Sponsored by
Scotch Brite.
Scotch Brite.
Right.
No, but it's true. I think we learn our self-talk from our parents, from our environment, and we look at what everyone else is picking on about themselves so we can pick on it about ourselves. We take our cues from social media. We take our cues from celebrities. Politicians now are a new form of celebrity. And we start projecting all of that onto ourselves and reflecting it too. And unfortunately, I think the stories we create about ourselves are really insidious, and we don't even realize we've done it before we're just limited. And we can't move forward in life, experience new things, because we have a script running in our mind that's telling us the same limiting small beliefs. I can't do this. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's not my preference. I'll never be that way. All of it.
Yeah. I remember my dad, wonderful man.
He's still with us, right?
He is with us.
Okay.
He's with us. But about 10 years ago, he wanted to change his career. And he said, I'm sick and tired of doing radio. I want to go sell something, like buy low, sell high. And I said, let's do that. All I want you to do is go to this car lot, for example, this auction, buy this car at $5,000, sell it at $15,000. You'll make $10,000. And in the beginning, he was very excited. He's like, yes, I want to do that. What does it take for me to do that? I said, go here, put $5,000 down on this car, clean it up, put an ad on the radio, TV, whatever, or newspaper, and 5 people will come to see the car. Just tell them about the good points of the car and how great it is and how good of a deal they're going to get, and they're going to buy it from you. He said, but I'm not a salesman. And that ended that journey. Mm-hmm. So he's willing to work for literally $2,000 a month doing something that he says he's comfortable doing versus making $20,000, $30,000 a month, something that he's taught himself that he can't do, or he tells himself every day he can't do. Yeah. And he said, why do you talk about yourself like that? Have you ever tried selling? He's like, no, but I know I'm not a good seller, so I won't be able to do this. So as I was trying to push him and try to talk to him through that conversation, he got very pissed off, like to a point like, leave me the fuck alone. I decided not to do it. Now get out. And I've seen that with people who cannot look at their own thoughts, look at the root of it, and think to themselves, I need to change. I need to see where this is coming from so I can do a better life. They just get mad at you. They push you away. They deny everything. They start lying to themselves. And that's the end of conversation. So one thing I learned during my divorce process, I was told I have to feel a certain way. I was told by others who have gone through the same thing that I have to be bitter, that I have to be angry, that I have to be vindictive, that I have to go after her. And that was a story they kept telling me based on the stories they had experienced themselves or their parents had told them. And I decided not to listen to that because my story had to be written by me, not being influenced by other people. So the moment you write your own story, you create your own reality, and everything you do from that point forward feeds into that empowerment story that you're going to create for yourself.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Well said.
Mm-hmm. In the beginning of your beautiful lecture, which it moved me. Wow, that's great. Yeah. You mentioned somebody in front of the mirror saying, I'm fat, I'm ugly, right? Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that? If you feel you're fat, at least now you have the vision and the awareness to do something about it. So if you tell yourself, I am fat, maybe it's not just, oh, I accept it, I'm fat. Maybe it's like, holy shit, I'm sick of this. I need to change. Right?
So
well, not a lot of people do it for that purpose, though. Not a lot of people see themselves as, I can change this, I need to change this. If you say it enough times, I think you're gonna convince yourself that you can change. If I tell myself I'm shy, I'm not even convincing myself that I need to be unshy. I'm telling myself, and I'm just hammering it in, that I'm shy. That I cannot go into a public setting, I can't be outgoing, that I'm shy. So the fat thing, or I'm out of shape or whatever, yes, a lot of people will do that, but a small percentage will actually do it because they want to change. They do it because they just want to reaffirm that belief that this is how my body was made. This is, my mom and dad were fat, so therefore I'm fat too, without wanting to change that script.
So that raises a really good point. A question we need to ask ourselves then instead is, what is my intention in telling myself this story? Mm-hmm. Because what you're saying, Kevin, is that my intention is to accept reality so that I can change reality. What you're saying is, this is people saying, I'm telling myself this story because it is reality and I cannot change it. So you have to know what is your intention for the stories you tell yourself. And maybe that's the first place to start looking. Why do you tell yourself that you're shy? Why do you tell yourself that you're overweight? Why do you tell yourself that you can't sell or you can't change careers? Is it so that you can accept it and then pivot and outgrow it? Or is it so that you can just sit in it and wallow in it and let that be the wall that stops you from getting what you want?
Well, most people go for the second option. But if I tell myself, I'm shy, or I don't want to change careers because I'm not a good salesperson, a normal person would say, okay, that's my limitations. I cannot be a salesperson. I cannot do this. I can never lose this belly fat. It is what it is. Let's accept it. But the people who want to grow and the people who have the awareness that this needs to change, then they look at that as something that, wait a minute, I keep telling everyone I'm shy. I keep telling everyone that I'm not a good salesperson. I keep telling everyone that I can't be a good salesperson because people won't accept me the way I look. And then that could be the catalyst of change. But unfortunately, most people use that as their excuse to stay where they are, even though it's uncomfortable as fuck.
Yeah.
Thank you for the compliments. So, years ago, I was afraid of flying. And I kept telling my brother, I'll never get on an airplane. He told me the same thing. But one December morning, I was standing in front of the mirror in my bathroom in Mission Viejo, California. Mm-hmm. And at the time, my girlfriend had gone to Vegas for a conference. What about December 4th, December 5th? Yeah. And I knew it was her birthday too. And I had told her, no, I cannot come because I was afraid of flying. But then it hit me. I was telling myself, oh, I'm not going to get on this airplane. Fuck that shit. Fuck that, man. Nobody can make me. A voice inside me said, fucking try it, dude. You've loser. I always call myself a loser when I don't like what I hear from myself. So I literally went on Expedia.com and I got myself a ticket. I didn't care if it was windy in Vegas. I didn't care if it was me by myself. I got on the plane and I went because I want to prove to myself that all that negative, I can't, I'm not good enough. I basically give it a middle finger, and I did it. Same with like everything else. Like sometimes I get pissed off at myself for being shy. And I say, you know what? You friggin' idiot. Just get in front of the camera, get in front of the person, just talk, be you. So I use it as motivation, whereas I'm sure a lot of people use it as an excuse. So the fact that you went to Vegas, right? And it's okay either way. Still you did it, which is a good thing. But did you do it out of inspiration or desperation? Was your ex-girlfriend or the girlfriend at that point saying, it's my birthday, how come this a-hole's not showing up? And you had to do it to keep it together? Except for the fact that I'm not going. So that was a surprise. So when I got a cab and I went to the hotel that she was staying at and said, hello, I'm here. So it wasn't because I was trying to please her. She had already accepted the fact that I'm scared of flying, and she was okay with it. Good. The way I think we talk about ourselves is really important. Not just the thinking is, yes, I mean, thinking is great. We can think good things or bad things. But by saying it, I think it has a different energy. We can change things about ourselves or other people. And so I remember one day I was driving to see my ex-wife. At that point, she was my girlfriend. And I had sinus issues. And I kept telling myself, I have sinus issues. I sound like Ray Romano. It is what it is. I'm just dopey and da-da-da. And as I was driving there, I asked myself, why do I keep telling myself I have sinus issues? Why do I keep bringing it to the forefront? Why do I keep making that my identity? And I remember I was behind a stoplight, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, you know what? Let me change. And I said, and I had to cuss at myself. I know some people say don't cuss at yourself, don't use negative words, but I said, you schmuck. Is that schmuck? Yeah, piece of shit. I said, hey, you piece of shit. Look at you. You have this hot-ass girlfriend. You're going to go out on a date, and all you can think about is your sinuses, my head is spinning, my eyes are bulging out. Stop that. You're good. You're healthy. You don't have any headache. And I start saying this out loud, yelling at myself while I'm looking at myself in the mirror. That's exactly what I do all the time. And literally, I curse myself out. And literally, 5 seconds later, I start hearing popping noises all around my ears, my eyes, my nose, my cheeks, and everything started draining out. And I've been on pharmaceuticals for 6 months trying to get it to drain, and nothing would happen. But the one time I got mad at myself and actually verbalized how mad I was at myself and how I deserved better and how healthy I was, even though I wasn't at that point, it changed something physiologically in me. Mm-hmm. That everything opened up, and I started getting teary-eyed. I'm like, wait a minute. I was telling myself a story about how miserable I was, and I was miserable. The moment I said, no, you're not, you're healthy, you're happy, deal with it, then it started draining.
Wow. And
I got to her house, and I was teary-eyed. She's like, are you okay? Is your brother and mom, are they dying? I said, no, but the power of you telling yourself that you can do something, that you're better than something that you ever thought you were, it really changes you. Mm-hmm. That's why I do it. We're a family of cursing in front of the mirror.
Well, it also seems to me that the issue was inflammation, right? Mm-hmm. And when people are angry, they say, why are you so inflamed? Mm-hmm. It's like you channeled the inflammation and it took it out of your body.
Yeah.
I think physical symptoms sometimes can actually represent repressed emotions. Mm-hmm. So sometimes if you have inflammation, it's because you're, excuse my language, I won't be able to use this in a short, fucking angry, but you are holding it in. Yeah. So your body gets inflamed. Mm-hmm. But the minute you channel it out, you're empowered. Yeah. So for you to maybe channeling anger, rage, they call rage sacred rage in some forms of spirituality because it can move shit, change shit, heal shit. Mm-hmm. So if you have anger inside of you and you purge it, so empowering. Mm-hmm. For others, it may not be anger that's their empowering emotion.
the reason we look at our reflection in the mirror, because it's our higher self in a way saying, you fucking peon, what's wrong with you? Change. And I think that's where I get my motivation when I look in the mirror is, a few times I look at myself, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not good enough. And then the higher self comes and says, fuck you, you piece of shit. POS.
Point of sale.
POS. Point of sale. Point of sale. You are good enough. Just fucking stop this act and be a man and just go out there and do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to learn to rewire our stupid stories to benefit us, not to keep us down.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And my mom, she was telling me a few days ago, she said, so wise. Her dad, my grandfather, was never a loving person. I think she said he touched me only one time on the shoulder. In all these years of being a father-daughter, he only showed his love one time by putting his hand on her shoulder saying, you're doing a good job. And that was it. And so she could have said, well, now in this day and age, I can't show my emotions to my kids. I can't be lovey-dovey because my dad did it, because my uncle did it, because my grandfather did it. But she told me that she decided to turn it 180 degrees around and stop that generational issue at her. She said the buck stops with me. So she didn't say buck. She doesn't know what that means. The pig stops with me. The camel stops with me. Right?
The generational curse stops with her.
Me.
Even better.
And that's why she said, I'm so lovey-dovey and, caring about you guys. Because it would be easy to go forward with my life having the same grumpy attitude as my dad did and that non-loving way that my mom was with me.
Yeah.
But I decided to change that for you guys. So future generations would benefit from a loving type of a relationship. So when I heard that, I'm like, wow, Mom, you had awareness and you did everything possible to turn that around. And so with us, whatever stories we've been telling ourselves, that I can't be rich because if I was, I would probably die of a heart attack. I would be flying all over the place, wouldn't see my family. And therefore I have to choose either my family or wealth, and I'll choose my family. Those are the stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. These little stories become, I think a good way to reflect is to see where in life do I keep hitting a limit? Is it in wealth? Is it in love? Is it in my purpose? Is it in everything? Yeah. But start with one silo. And if you find that you keep hitting a wall in one area of your life, there's a really good chance that there's a story you're telling yourself that's stopping you from getting through that wall.
Yeah.
And maybe you're rerouting, or maybe you're recircuiting, or you keep trying to find like a loophole to get around it, but you just keep coming right back to it. Yeah. Can't earn more than this. Can't find my soulmate. Can't find, if you believe in soulmates, can't find this, can't find that. You want it, but you can't get it. Then there's a story between you and it. So the question is, what is it? And it could be something small. Like, I just don't deserve that.
My son, the smaller one, not your future husband, but your future brother-in-law.
Future brother-in-law,
yeah. A few weeks ago, we were at school, and I was picking them up, and there was another dad and his daughters running around. And he said, hey, Darian, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my son said, I want to be an astronaut. And the guy said, you're not going to be an astronaut.
What a jerk off.
And for a moment, I thought to myself, what a piece of shit, right? I said, okay, he doesn't know any better. Hopefully this doesn't go into my son's consciousness or subconscious. And we came home, and a couple of weeks go by. And a few days ago, I said, hey, Darian, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's like, well, I can't be an astronaut. I said, you can't be an astronaut? Why not? She's like, because this person and that person's dad said, good luck. It's not going to happen.
Did you tell your son that the guy is drunk?
No, but I think it can start, every story can start with something like that.
Absolutely, it does.
Every story begins with some idiot telling you, are you sure you want to do that?
1,000%.
Yeah.
I have been thinking about my own purpose lately in the artistic sense, creatively, not with regard to how I make money, but with regard to what feeds my soul. And I've been thinking about the stories that I tell myself, and I've realized that some of them came from people just saying, like, girls can't be that.
Yeah.
Like movie director, that's more of like a Steven Spielberg type of thing, like a Quentin Tarantino kind of thing. Like, see what they have in common.
Yeah.
Not that.
Beards.
Yeah, beards. So that's like a little something there. And then also watching the stories that your parents internalize but never say out loud.
Mm.
So when you're a parent, I wouldn't know what it's like to be a parent, but I know what it's like to be a kid. And I know that you watch your parents, and even if they're not verbalizing their limiting beliefs, they're living them actively through their actions. So it's important to set an example of trying new things, doing new things, like breaking your own mold over and over again, so the kid can see, oh, I never have to be just one thing.
Also culturally, like a lot of people say, well, my culture doesn't allow women to go out in the open and have a career.
They shouldn't.
We have to stay home and do certain things. And they know it's a cultural limitation. They know it's a mental limitation, but they still go along with it because they don't want to be shunned. They don't want to be spoken behind their backs.
Yeah. Who would want that?
But that, to me, it's how many chains are you trying to be pulled from, whatever.
Yeah. Or limited by.
Limited by.
Exactly.
Because one is cultural. One is my dad said this. One is my, some guy called me Arab, and therefore I can't do certain things in the society anymore. All those things are being pulled. And we were called Arabs, camel jockeys, sand monsters, all those things when we moved to this country.
I like sand monster.
And some people took that to heart and said, well, if everyone thinks I am a camel jockey, therefore I can't acclimate into this society, therefore I cannot be a certain actor or astronaut or president or this and that. Or president, I know you have to be a citizen, but
no, you have to be born here.
Some people took that as, okay, these are the four walls I have to live within.
These are my rules.
And some of us said, well, fuck you, I'll do whatever I want to. That person's opinion doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like this parent's opinion shouldn't count in Darian's subconscious because who the heck is he?
But he's an adult.
He's an adult. But he's an alcoholic.
Yes.
This and that.
Well, we know that. But
we know that.
Darian now needs to know it.
But if we have awareness and we look at these things as a whole, what's stopping me from being more loving in a relationship? What's stopping me from being more aggressive in this sense? What's stopping me from being a director?
Yeah, more creative.
We have to be aware of these things enough.
Yes.
And question it. And if you question it and say, wait a minute, my culture from 2,500 years ago said women should stay in the kitchen. Yes. What the fuck is that all about?
And questions, I feel, are one of the best ways to interrupt patterns. Ask yourself questions. Like we said at the beginning, what's my intention for telling myself this story? Honestly. Like if you become conscious of a thought like, oh, I never wear that kind of clothes because I think I'm too overweight to look good in it.
Yeah.
What's my intention for telling myself this story?
Yeah, why am I dressing like this? Am I doing it for me? Or am I doing it for other people to accept me? Am I doing it for this purpose or that purpose? And if it's outside of your realm of happiness or purpose, then you got to bring it in. In my opinion, if I'm asking myself these questions, why aren't I doing certain things? Why am I limited by this? Why am I limited by that? And if it's to please other people or feed into my fears or feed into societal norms or cultural stuff, and if it doesn't serve me the way it should, then I have to cut them out.
Yeah.
But I have to be okay not having that safety net.
Yeah.
I believe I can fly. No, I believe
you touch the sky.
Barely. What I believe is that working on yourself is difficult. It's hard, challenging. So the person that looks at themselves in the mirror and sees an overweight person, the reason they don't use it as motivation to become thin is because it takes work. So they'll use that, this is me, God gave this to me, so it is what it is. Maybe next lifetime. But I think you change your perspective that for the most part, you can change lots of things about you. Instead of looking as an excuse that the other option means I have to work on it. Well, you know what? So what? Work on it. Because then you'll stop looking at yourself in the mirror and calling yourself fat. Like me and you, we curse at each other, even though we've said it in our minds many times. I've got sinus problems. Well, it is what it is. I mean, I'm drowsy and in a bad mood. Okay, so that's life. But the second we curse at each other, at ourselves, we curse, it means we realize enough with the excuses. You can't go around just having an excuse for everything. Just fucking work on it, change your mind, the way you see things, and actually do something about it. And once you do something about it, you're like, you know what, that was easier than I thought. I was just living in that persona because it felt comfortable. I didn't have to change. I just accepted this label I gave myself so that I don't have to try hard. Now I try hard. I just change my perspective, and it only takes 1 second of changing your perspective to be on the right track. Just 1 second.
So it comes down to three things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Question yourself. Have awareness around the new path you want to start taking, and make choices that are aligned with that newfound reality. We can definitely question ourselves. Hey, why are you not doing anything about your state of health? Okay, from now on, I'm going to start exercising or whatever. But if it comes down to choice or the work we have to actually put into it, say, well, choice between McDonald's or a salad, you know what, I'll just go with McDonald's today. I'll just start on the other one tomorrow. Yeah. That last step could derail you. So yes, question yourself. Yes, have that conversation with yourself. Yes, have awareness about the new path you decided to embark on. But it has to come with action and those choices you're going to make every day.
And I believe the difference between the unhappy you and the happy you is just 1 second. You're 1 second away from being on the right path.
You're one choice away.
Yeah, that choice takes 1 second. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to look at it as a journey that, in 2 years, maybe I can fit in this dress. In 1 second, the second you change your mind, you're going to be on the right path.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be easy to achieve that.
I think what I've learned in my short little life
33 years
is that there has to be intrinsic motivation. I don't think you can white knuckle willpower it.
Do we have a dictionary here?
So it has to come from, you have to find the right reason.
Yeah.
You can switch your perspective as many times as you want all day long. You can switch it like a die that has 12 different sides. Flip, 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 flip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 12 is good. It's like biblical and shit.
It's awful. It's odd.
Biblical and shit.
But if you don't find the one number on the die that really resonates with your heart, you will not have the willpower to make the choice.
Yep.
Because it's not about willpower. It's about finding the true motivation. If it's to please other people or to fit into clothes that you'll get celebrated for or to attract the right partner, none of that shit's going to stick. It's not going to stick until you find the real reason that nourishes you.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to take your 3 steps, which is to figure out your intention for your stories, ask better questions, and take action. But understand that if you're not taking the action from the true place in your heart, you won't have enough willpower in a day to flip and make that choice.
Some people literally, they say, okay, I want to be thinner to fit into those jeans and go to my boyfriend's, bar mitzvah.
Yes.
Right? Some other person may say, well, I'm going to live long enough to see my grandchildren. Someone may say, oh my God, every time I'm taking family pictures, I look hideous.
Yeah. Or some may say, I don't feel good anymore.
Yeah, I don't
for
feel
myself.
Good. And I have, heart palpitation every time I go up the stairs.
Yeah.
So you have to find out what that motivation is and stick with that. Yeah. And for me, sometimes when I think about how I eat, for example, my motivation is seeing my kids grow up. It's not, I want to be, dunking on him on the basketball court, which of course happens a lot.
We see that here.
It's not that, I want to have a nicer body so the girls will look at me. No. My purpose in eating healthy and being healthy, and not just physically but mentally, is that I want to be present with my kids. I can be playing with them. I can exercise with them. I can go on bike rides together. I want to see them have kids. So my purpose for making those choices, tough choices between a yogurt parfait and an In-N-Out triple-double is I want to live longer. Yeah. It's not what I immediately want right now. Oh my God, a hamburger would be great. Yes, but what would be greater would be if you live in an extra 20 years and see your kids grow up. So that would be my motivation.
Yeah.
Even though that's the right answer, and we all want to do that, I believe whatever your motivation is, even if you want to fit into the bar mitzvah dress,
Jeans, yeah.
so be it.
Yeah.
As long as you have a different perspective on life and you want to work towards it, whatever it is, so be it.
No, mine is emotionally attached to my, reason.
Yeah.
So someone else's reason could be emotionally attached to looking good in pictures. Yeah. Someone's could be, I want to look good for my next boyfriend. But whatever that is, you have to remind yourself every time you're about to take a bite of that Big Mac, am I going to get closer with this, or am I going to get further from this? And if you're going to get closer to your goal, take it. If you think you're going to take one step back, then don't do it. And I don't care if you waste $7 on a Big Mac, you have to throw it away. I've done that so many times.
How many Big Macs have you tossed?
No, not Big Macs. But like sometimes like I get, rice and, kebab and this and that. And I sit down to eat and I look at my kids sitting in the other room eating. Hey, Daddy, can we go play in the park after lunch? And look at my plate. Yes, I paid $2 extra for more rice. Yes, I paid $3 extra for that, baba ganoush and, pita bread or whatever. Then I say, you know what? I don't care about this extra $7, $8 I'm going to waste. I'm just going to have the meat or the salad. I'm going to toss the rest of it out. Or sometimes my mom says, hey, I just bought this cake, $50 cake from the bakery. Have a slice. I'm like, Mom, give me the smallest slice just to be kind. And so I sit there. After 2 bites, I just go throw it out in the trash can, the rest of it. And she says, that was a $50 cake. Don't waste it. Eat it. I'm like, but at what cost? Just because I want to save $50 doesn't mean I got to get into the, Jenny Craig program for 8 years and spend $10,000 there. So, $50, throwing $50 away, throwing an extra Big Mac away, saying no to your fries even though you paid $3 extra for it, tossing it would be the best way for me to get to my goal.
Right.
Because is that meal going to get me closer to my goal or further from my goal?
Exactly.
Speaking of Jenny Craig,
JC.
I thought to myself years ago.
JC.
Yeah.
Years ago, I thought about Jenny Craig. I said it would be amazing to target men. They flip the name Craig Jenny.
There's a business opportunity.
Like
there.
Jenny Craig and Craig Jenny.
It's beautiful.
That's great.
Then you'll be in the Craig Jenny program.
Triple Shot Mindset.